RCTP, Beginner to 512, Level 6, 511D to 512, Part 3. Just in case you're wondering, this background is a picture of Rochambeau in the Red River Gorge, and this is a 12A. Number 1, iso movement. An iso movement is when you have tension throughout your entire body, yet you still need to move like one part of your body in order to make a move. So here we're going to watch as this climber has to move his left hand, and he has it on that white hold, and he has to just move it closer to his body. So here he's just going to bump that right hand over, but keep all the rest of his body in a tense position so that he doesn't fall off the wall. Iso switch. An iso switch is when you have tension throughout the rest of your body, but you still need to be able to switch around either your hand or your foot in a different position. So here we're going to watch as this climber where he just has that right hand on that right red hold, and he needs to just switch it around, and he has to lock himself off. You can see how much tension he just needed in order to make that move. Knee bar. With a knee bar, you might be able to do this move on something that's easier than a 512, but it more than likely isn't necessary. Whereas on 512s and above, sometimes you actually need to make a knee bar in order to do the move. So here's Renee on a B9, and this is what a knee bar looks like. You just kind of wedge your knee into something in order for you to go up and make the next move. Get out of your head, find different beta. Sometimes when we're on 12 routes, we think, you know what, this is a 12, so it's got to be like pretty hard in order to make this move. Like, I just don't have the strength in order to do it. But sometimes it really is just as simple as finding different beta, and I've done this many times on 12 where I've like come down and be like, man, I was struggling so often, and then like all it was something so simple, and I'm so stupid for just not seeing it beforehand. However, when you do find it, you sometimes feel like it's a great discovery. So here's Renee trying to like balance, and then what she figured out was that the beta that she needed was actually to span two holds with her foot like she's doing right here, where she has her toe and her heel on two separate holds, and then she's able to make this move in balance and actually finish the route by putting two hands on that top hold. And she was pretty happy when she discovered that beta. I was on this climb prior to Brian climbing it, and I struggled at the next clip trying to make it. This route is pretty bouncy, and nothing really feels that right in order for you to like let go of. You kind of feel like you're gonna pop at any second. Now while I was on it, I'm like, okay, what would I tell people in my YouTube series to do at this point? You know, if you're struggling making a clip, what would I say? And I was like, you know what, I need to get out of my head and find a new way to make this clip. So I searched around, and what I thought about is, hey, why don't I use my calf muscle to hold myself against the wall and make this next clip. So we're going to see Brian do that momentarily. He's just going to put his calf on this hold here, and he's going to make that clip. So thanks to you guys and this whole YouTube series, I was able to do this route. Whereas if I, just kept trying to do what he's doing here, putting my toe on top and standing up on it, I probably wouldn't have made it up this route, because I was like so sure that, you know what, this is a 12, it's super bouncy, it's really hard, and I just gotta like suck it up and keep like pushing myself to be able to make that move. But you know what? Sometimes it's really not that hard, and you just have to find new beta. The other part with finding new beta is sometimes you find like the sweet spot on a hold. So where I'm pointing here is where I thought like the sweet spot of this hold was, and no matter what I kept doing in order to like pull myself up, I kept falling off the hold, and I was like, this like feels really nice here, and I kind of really want the move to go right here, but it's not going. And then with talking with a few climbers, because it's like a bouldering route, what I noticed is that if I just moved my foot actually back and closer to the wall, I can actually make the move. But when I moved my foot like into that position, like at the very beginning of the movement, it felt really wrong and just really bad, and I didn't really trust my foot. As you get like to the end of the movement is when you're like, oh, okay, that's actually when it feels good. And this is like as simple as it can be on a 12 sometimes, is that you're using the right move, you're doing like a heel hook, and you're digging yourself in and you're pulling yourself up, but it's this little micro adjustment that you're like, oh, okay, that's all I needed to do, and now I can make the move. And you might try many times, and you're like, seriously, on the 21st try, I finally just thought to like move my foot a little bit closer to the wall, and then I make it the first time I do that. Like, it can be very humbling, but it's also very satisfying. Where you're like, yes, I figured out what I need to do in order to make this move. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. Climbing at grades below 12, most of the moves kind of feel very nice and they're very comfortable. And then once you get to a 12, you're kind of like, man, some of these moves just feel really bad and I don't want to be in this position. And so you sometimes like search around for a better position, but that can be wasting a lot of energy because there sometimes just isn't a better position to be in. So you kind of have to start getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And we're going to watch Trevor as he's on this V6. And it's a pretty like scrunched, uncomfortable position for him to be in. And as soon as he starts to move himself into a comfortable position is when he actually knocks himself off the wall. Set it and forget it. We'll watch Fab on this V5 as he first initially on the bottom part kind of struggles with like the way the holds feel. He touches them, he's like, man, these holds kind of suck and I don't really want to do this move. And then after a while, he's like, all right, you know what? It's not going to get any better, so I'm just going to keep going for it. So here he goes. He's like kind of reset his hand a bit. He's like, is there a better spot? No? Okay, I'll just go with it. And then you see as he goes up the next half of the climb, he just sets it and forgets it. He's like, every hold's going to suck, and I'm just going to make the move, and I'll just keep going up. And you see how he does this. None of his hands are now actually trying to search for a new position. He just, the first time he gets it, he just moves over it.